I made a specific table for jumper because you will see that different size you have different maximum current and in some cases different tolerance. 01005 is maximum current 0.5 amps, tolerance 50 milliohms. 0201 1 amp, tolerance 50 milliohms. Here 0402 is 1.5 amps. As you can see, increase the size, increase the maximum current. But the tolerance is equal or better than 20 milliohms, which will be all other size. And the maximum current will be 2512, 7 amps, and the tolerance equal or better than 20 milliohms. Next element of the part number is TCR. TCR is temperature coefficient of resistance. TCR is how much the resistor will change the value with change in temperature. We read in parts per million per degree Celsius or Kelvin. Celsius and Kelvin is basically the same, just the reference will change. For TCR, the part number H, the code H, will be plus or minus 50 parts per million per degree Celsius or Kelvin. K, plus or minus 100, N, plus or minus 200, R, plus or minus 250, X, minus 200 plus 400, Y, minus 200 plus 600. As you can see, Vishay allowed you to choose different TCR for your application, which is very good. I made a table specific to show you the difference between resistance, tolerance, and the TCR that you will choose. It's very important that plus or minus 50, which is good tolerance, will be for size bigger or equal to 0402 and equal or bigger than 100 ohms in 1%, 0.5%, and 0.25%. From 1 ohms, 9.1 ohms, in 5%, 2%, 1%, there's no 0.5% and 0.25% in this range for 01005. Will be TCR minus, will be part number Y, minus 200 to plus 600. From 10 ohms to 1 megohms, the TCR is 250 in all 5, 2 and 1%. 0201, you also start to have choices, because for 1 ohms to 9.1 ohms in 5% and 1% from 1 ohms to 9.76 ohms, 1% is 0.5%, the TCR will be minus 200 plus 400. 0201, 10 ohms to 10 megohms, 5%, 1%, 0.5% will be plus or minus 200. But you start to have a choice, because from 47 ohms to 1 megohms in 0201, you have the choice to have plus or minus 100. And here, plus or minus 200 from 1 ohms to 10 megohms, plus or minus 200, code N. You will find all this information in the data sheet. 0402, as I said, you already have TCR plus or minus 50 for resistor above 100 ohms to 1 megohms, 1%, 0.5%, 0.25%. You have for 0603 the choice to have plus or minus 100 from 1 ohms to 10 megohms, 1% and 0.5%. And also 50 plus or minus 50 in 1%, 0.5%, 0.25%. Same as 0805. So the plus or minus 50 for 0.25% finish here in 1206. Goes from 0402 to 1216. 1210 does not have tolerance 0.25%. but you still have plus or minus 50 from 1% to 0.5%. And you have some difference in resistance. In bigger size, you have some limitation. Plus or minus 50, finishing 2.2 meg in 1218, and which is limited, but 2010, you already have plus or minus 50 until 10 megohms, which is a good thing. But 1 ohms, you see plus or minus 100. The last item of the part number is the package. For each quantity, each diameter of the reel, you have a different part number. EL for 01005, quantity 20,000, 0201, ED for quantity of 10,000, 7 inches, 0201, EI for 20,000, etc. 0201 here, you have 50,000. 0402, you have EE also 50,000, both EE. 13 inches, 2 millimeters pitch, 8 millimeters width. 0105, part number EL, quantity 20,000, carrier, paper tape, width 8 millimeters, pitch 2 millimeters, diameter of the reel 7 millimeters. Pitch is the distance between the middle of two components next to each other. For the choice of quantity, 5,000, 50,000, 20,000, 10,000, it is necessary to take in account that production of high volume, it may be less expensive to choose a reel with high number of components. The number of interventions to change the reel decreases. If, on the other hand, the production is small, a reel with lower number may be less expensive if it's necessary to stop the manufacturing process and cut the tape. When returned to production, a certain amount of blank tape will have to add to avoid material loss. In case of doubt, a consultation with responsible engineer is the best solution. You will find all the information in the data sheet. 0603, we saw before that we had 5,000. Here we have 10,000, 20,000, and also 50,000. 0603, you have here another different tape, 5,000, with pitch 4 millimeters. Before we had another reel with 5,000, but the pitch was 2 millimeters. And 0603, you have several choices for quantity, diameter of the reel, and even pitch. 0805, the maximum quantity is 20,000. 1206, also maximum quantity 20,000. Bigger size, 1218, 2010, 2512. They use blister tape, plastic. The width is 12 millimeters. Pitch here is 4 millimeters. In 2512, pitch is 8 millimeters. The diameter of the reel all 7 inches. During the presentation, I spoke about milliohms, kiloohms, megohms, k-ohms, gigohms, and I did explain exactly what it is. This table is explained to you what it is. Kiloohms is 1,000 ohms, megohms is million ohms, and gigohms is billion ohms. Thick film. Thick film use a substrate from aluminum oxide, which this manufacturer is Kyocera. I will put link down below. They manufacture aluminum oxide as a substrate for thick film, as you can see here, and thin film. You will notice that there is two different substrates, one for thick film, one for thin film. The reason why is, for thick film, the purity is 96%. For thin film, the purity is 99.6%. Well, why they use aluminum oxide as a substrate? Because it's recyclable. You can recycle several times. is non-toxic, is harder, is abrasive, and the melting point is 2072 degrees, and also the thermal conductivity is very good. Metal glaze is glass powder and metal particles. The metal could be palladium, bismuth, all this, okay? And their oxides, of course. After the application of a metal glaze over the substrate, the material goes to a kiln. Nitrogen instead of regular air is the solution to avoid oxidation, and the temperature reaches between 800 degrees Celsius and 900 degrees Celsius. In the end, the parts are cut at the right size. A laser cuts the metal glaze to reach the correct resistors. The best description I found was in this website. I will put the link down below. They manufacture thick film products. They have a very good description, and in their description they mention silver palladium and gold palladium. Also the oxide, silver and ruthenium in different combinations. He described that the metal glaze can be applied in the form of ink as a screen printing process. After they trim it with laser to reach the right resistance, they apply a coating for protection, install the solder plate, and is ready for the customer. The Vishay manufacturer is completed. Now we're gonna go to the second manufacturer. If you did like the video, hit the like button below and subscribe for more videos. To complement our work, we publish a website to help you find manufacturers and distributors for electronic components. The link is down below. If you have any suggestion or question about electronic components, leave a comment. I will try to answer the best way possible. Thanks for watching the video. I will see you in the next video.